Bienvenue au programme pour les Junior High School Joylearning. Je me nomme Patricia Abochi, votre facilitatrice pour aujourd'hui. Welcome to JHS Joylearning Program. I am Patricia Abochi, your French facilitator. In today's lesson, we are going to learn how to identify some 4 verbs that belong to the third group. We will also learn to conjugate the 4 verbs in the l'imparfait tense. Also, we will be able to use the l'imparfait forms of the verbs we have learned in correct sentences. Nous avons déjà appris comment conjuguer les verbes dans la deuxième groupe au l'imparfait. We have already learned how to conjugate the second group of verbs in the l'imparfait tense. As we already learned with the second group of verbs, we have to conjugate the verb in the present tense, take the first person plural form, which is the nous, cut off the ons, and add the following endings: a, I, s, a, I, S, A, I, T, I, O, N, S, I, E, Z, A, I, E, N, T. We are going to take some examples of verbs that belong to the third group and conjugate them in the l'imparfait tense. The first verb we would conjugate in the l'imparfait tense is attendre. Attendre means to wait. Now, from the rule, we have to conjugate attendre in the present tense. And when we do that, we will take the nous form, and the nous form becomes nous attendons. We cut off the ons and we add the endings of the l'imparfait tense. So we will have j'attendais, tu attendais, il attendait, elle attendait, nous attendions, vous attendiez, ils attendaient, elles attendaient, which means I was waiting, you were waiting, he was waiting, it was waiting, she was waiting, it was waiting, we were waiting, you plural were waiting, they masculine were waiting, they feminine were waiting. The second verb in this group I would like us to look at is boire. Boire means to drink. So we will first of all conjugate boire in the present tense and take the nous form, which is nous buvons. We cut off the ons and we add the endings of the l'imparfait tense. So we will have je buvais, tu buvais, il buvait, elle buvait, nous buvions, vous buviez, il buvait, elle buvait, which means I was drinking, you were drinking, He was drinking. It was drinking. She was drinking. It was drinking. We were drinking. You plural were drinking. They masculine were drinking. They feminine were drinking. The third verb in this group we will look at is prendre. Prendre means to take. So we conjugate prendre in the present tense and take the nous form, which is nous prenons. So we cut off the ons and we add the endings. So we will have je prenais, tu prenais, il prenait, elle prenait, nous prenions, vous preniez, il prenait, elle prenait, which means I was taking, you were taking, he was taking, it was taking, she was taking, it was taking, we were taking, you were taking, they were taking, they were taking. The last but not the least verb is croire. Croire means to believe. So we conjugate croire in the present tense. We will have the nous form, we will have nous croyons. And we cut off the ons before we add our endings of the l'imparfait tense. So it becomes je croyais, tu croyais, il croyait, elle croyait, nous croyions, vous croyiez, il croyait, elle croyait, which means I was believing, you were believing, he was believing, she was believing, we were believing, you plural were believing, they masculine were believing, they feminine were believing. Now, to test our understanding of how to use the correct forms of these verbs in sentences, let's try our hands on the following. Tous les jours, elle lui rendre visite. So, the verb rendre is in the infinitive form. So we are to use the l'imparfait form of the rendre. So to get the l'imparfait form of the rendre, we need to conjugate the rendre in the present tense. So when we conjugate it in the present tense, we will have nous rendons as the first person plural form. We cut off the ons and we add the endings. Now the subject here is elle, that is third person singular. And the ending for the third person singular is ait. So after cutting the ons, we add ait, which goes with the third person singular subject. So it becomes tous les jours, elle lui rendait visite. The second one is elle prendre le bus chaque matin. So we are to conjugate prendre in the present tense and take the first person plural form. So we will have nous prenons. We cut off the ons and we add the endings. Now the subject here is elle. That is the third person plural. And that third person plural form goes with the a, I, e, n, t as its ending. So we will add that to our stem. So we will have Elle prenait le bus chaque matin. The next sentence I would like us to look at is Afi et toi n'entendre rien. So we are going to conjugate entendre in the l'imparfait tense. To do that, we will have to first of all conjugate entendre in the present tense. So when we conjugate entendre in the present tense, we will take the nous form, which is nous entendons. We cut off the ONS and we add the ending Afi et toi. We have to, first of all, look for a personal pronoun that we can use to replace Afi et toi. So the personal pronoun we can use to replace Afi et toi is vous. And vous goes with the ending IEZ. So after cutting off the ONS from the entendons, we add the IEZ. So it becomes Afi et toi n'entendiez rien. That is our answer for you, entendiez. I believe you had all answers correct. If you did, applaudissez pour vous. Clap for yourselves. But if you didn't, just take your time and work it in the steps that we have aligned for you. Les garçons lirent les journaux dans la classe. We will conjugate the verb lire in the present tense first of all and cut off the ONS. So when we conjugate it, we will have nous lisons. That is what we need. So we cut off the ONS and we add the AIENT because the subject here is les garçons. And we can use the third person plural personal pronoun, which is il, to replace les garçons. And that goes with the AIENT. So it becomes les garçons lisaient les journaux dans la classe. En Afrique, nous bois beaucoup d'eau. Boire is to be conjugated in the l'imparfait tense. So we will need to conjugate it in the present tense first. So it becomes nous buvons. We cut off the ONS and we add the ending, which is EONS, because the subject here is nous. And nous goes with EONS. So it becomes en Afrique, nous buvons beaucoup d'eau. En Afrique, nous buvions beaucoup d'eau. In conclusion, we have learned how to conjugate verbs that belong to the third group in the l'imparfait tense. So to sum it all up, we can say that to conjugate any verb, whether it belongs to the first group, the second group, or the third group, we first of all have to conjugate that verb in the present tense. Cut off the ONS for the nous form, and then we add the endings AIS, AIS, AIT, I-O-N-S, I-E-Z-A-I-E-N-T. J'espère que vous avez apprécié cette leçon. Rejoignez-moi à la prochaine fois. I believe you have enjoyed our lesson for today. Join me next time. Until then, it's merci et au revoir.